in one translation has the teacher saying, I've seen the burden that God has laid on the human race. And again, this other one says, I've seen the business that God has given to everyone. So what is it? Has God laid it upon us, or has he given it to us? Is it a burden or a blessing? And if you've read any of Ecclesiastes before this, you won't be surprised to know that the answer to that question is yes. Let me show you how I know. Let's look at just the first half of verse 11. I know the whole thing will probably go on the screen. That's okay. Just read that first sentence. It says, he has made everything beautiful in its time. That's all I want us to look at right now. He has made everything beautiful in its time. Other translations have this sentence saying that God has made everything appropriate or suitable or fitting in its time. But the actual Hebrew word here is beautiful, right? And so in our debate about burden or blessing, the teacher kind of starts with this wonderful phrase. He has made everything beautiful in its time. And a lot of theologians believe that this phrase is referring kind of to the general way that life works and the way that time kind of flows together and things kind of, everything kind of falls together in this neat little order or whatever else. And I think there's definitely some truth to that. I'm certainly not trying to say that I'm smarter than a bunch of theologians who've studied this stuff. But what I am going to say is that as I read this, I don't think that's all the teacher is saying, right? Because I can't help but to see in these words a foreshadowing of what Paul wrote in Romans 8:28, which says in the New Living Translation, and we know that God works everything, we know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose for them. Right, so the teacher just described a lot of different times or seasons in his poem, and many of those do not seem very good or beautiful to me. Right, to weep, to mourn, to kill, to lose, and many of these others, they all have these negative connotations, and yet he says that God makes everything beautiful in its time. So here's the thing. I believe that God is actively at work in our world. He is sovereign. But I don't believe that he is in control in the way that we so often understand it. I don't think that God is a puppet master who's up pulling strings and dictating every detail of our daily lives. I don't think we can chalk up every single event or occurrence to God's plan because we have free will, and so does everyone else who lives, and so has everyone else who's ever lived before this. And the thing is that over thousands of years, the choices that have been made with the free will that God has given has taken humanity further and further away from God's original design and resulted in a world dominated by chaos, sin, and brokenness. And so now we live in a world with little to no control over what times or seasons we experience or how long they last. I don't think that God plans or causes or allows all of the horrible things that happen in our lives, but I don't think that he is some casual observer either. I believe that whatever time it may be in our lives, God is with us and God is working. So whether by premeditated plan or retroactive connectivity, God works everything together for our good. He makes everything beautiful in its time. He meets us in whatever time we find ourselves and promises that even this moment, this pain, this loss, this grief will be worked together for our good. And even more so, God works with us in our time. Right? Professor N.T. Wright translates Romans 8:28 this way. We know, in fact, that God works all things together for good with those who love him, who are called according to his purpose. If choices made through free will are what have led to the chaos and brokenness of our world, then we can use our free will to choose to work with God for good, even in the middle of difficult times and seasons.